hope you're doing very well on this rather warm, when I say rather warm, boiling hot Tuesday. Well, it's certainly where I am at the moment. South London, it is bloody warm, very, very warm. I'm actually going to Mallorca tomorrow to cool down. Do you know what? I am actually going to Mallorca. People think, if you just come back off holiday, I really don't want people to think that I'm sort of swan off on holiday every other week. That's not how it goes. Basically, we booked our family holiday, 2-week getaway, lovely jubbly for June, all excited about it. And then our in-laws said, well, we're going to book a villa to celebrate our anniversary. Oh, lovely. We can come up for a few days. And they booked it for the first week of June. So basically, all of June, I'm away. That's kind of how it's been. It's been a really weird time, actually, because it means I've come back from holiday trying to catch up with staff and get back into the rhythm of things before then going away a few days later. It's for another longer holiday. So, but I'm still going to be doing videos like I tend to do when I'm away and keep up to date with news and stuff. So it's not as if the channel's going to be quiet. And also, we've got Tom as well going to be producing videos as well. So, but we have had a little breather. We had a couple of days off from doing stuff. And there's been a couple of reasons for that. One, just for have a bit of a break, just to sort of have a little bit of a rest. And also, two, because it's been quiet. There's not been a lot really to talk about. The transfer window's closed. Well, it closed, didn't it, for 6 days. It reopened again on Monday. And it's now open until the 1st of September. So this is now the sort of proper transfer window, I would go as far as saying. It's been a bit quiet, let's be honest. It hasn't been the most exciting of transfer windows so far. And I'm going to talk about that in this video because there's been an update from EXWHUEMPLOYEE. He's also produced some updates in terms of transfer bits and pieces, but I'm not going to go through everything, of course. I want to sort of talk about a couple of points in this, and then tomorrow I'll do another video with much more talk about targets and players that we're interested in, which is, I think it's been quite interesting, but I do want to talk about a couple of things first. First thing's the background. As you say, this is the good thing about having a green screen, right? And you can just change the background. Now, I did have this as one of my backgrounds that I was going to use, and I went with the other one. I just fancy changing it today. I fancy to change it. A bit of a shake it up a little bit, mix it up and yeah, see what you think and let us know. Why not? I'm in that kind of mood. Do you know what I mean? Why not? This is where my life is now. Backgrounds. This is the excitement that goes on in my life. Well, it certainly does to be a West Ham fan because it certainly ain't good signings. Right, let's talk about a couple of points. I'm going to come to the signings things in a minute. I want to talk about, first of all, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Callum Wilson. They're two players that we've been linked with. We always get linked with these sort of players, but it came up, didn't it? I'm not sure who originally broke the news, but it came up in sort of a few media outlets. It was quite strong that West Ham were very, very keen on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Callum Wilson was kind of loosely used, but I kind of feel like that's a lazy report. But Calvert-Lewin one was there was quite a lot of suggestion that West Ham had already done a deal with the player. West Ham were in talks of him. A deal was going to be done. He's out of contract. They're talking about wages and stuff. And I thought, I've got to be honest, I think like many, when I see someone like Calvert-Lewin linked, I'm just so deflated. It really, it not only deflates me, it angers me because it's just a typical West Ham move, isn't it? Let's get someone that's really injury prone. Yeah, look, I'm not knocking Calvert-Lewin as a player, a great player, but he's injury prone and he's past his best. And you know what I mean? These sort of players as well, they're high wages. It's just those typical West Ham type of signings. And I think everyone sort of feels the same. You see West Ham getting linked, you think, oh God, not again. Not again. We're not going down this bloody path again. We've already got a 32-year-old striker who's always injured in Nicholas Füllkrug. We've got Antonio for a little bit longer, who's, just climbed out of a car wreck. We've had Andy Carroll. I mean, how many more of these players do we need to get on the books that are just always injury prone? I just thought, no, I really didn't want that. So, EXWHUEMPLOYEE has provided an update on the situation. And I've got to admit, because I didn't speak to X for a couple of days, and I was kind of like thinking, oh, please tell me it's good news in regard. And I can tell you it is. Unless you're a Calvert-Lewin fan, of course, you might be sitting here, getting ready to get your Calvert-Lewin written on the back of your shirt, getting it all ordered now. Well, I wouldn't bother because I don't think that one's happening, thank Christ. So West Ham aren't interested in Calvert-Lewin. It's total rubbish, total nonsense that we're after him. I'll give you the quick write-up of what actually X said. Hang on, bear me a sec. Right, I've spoken to some sources at the club regarding reports that we are keen on both Calvert-Lewin and Callum Wilson. It had even been suggested in some reports that a deal for Calvert-Lewin was progressing with the club. The club was now in direct contact with the player. We understand that the player is actually away in the United States at the moment. He's not even working on trying to secure a new deal for a club at the present. And we've been advised that we are in fact not keen on signing him or Callum Wilson. Although the club recognise that they are both talented and proven players, they are both injury prone, and that's something the club want to avoid. Now, of course, I hate these bits. Of course, things can change if we become absolutely desperate at the last minute. But as of now, there is absolutely no interest in these players. So, look, I'm going to be honest. I'm relieved. I'm really relieved. That is very good news as far as I'm concerned when it comes to West Ham this summer. I know there's not a lot to be excited about, but it's good to know that we're not in that mindset. Do you know what I mean? We're just doing the lazy, typical. Oh, let's just go and get that freebie. Like it's just a typical West Ham move. So I'm really relieved. I'm very pleased about that, and it gives me actually things like that give me hope that if you've got someone like Graham Potter going, no, we're not interested in them. Callum Wilson, no, thank you very much. I'm not interested. I want younger players, which we know that is the case that he really wants. Like with Cole McCauley, they're targeting younger up and coming players rather than going for sort of has-beens that are on high wages. I mean, it's just a relief, isn't it? Because you look back and think that would have been a West Ham signing. You know, look at Danny Ings. You know what I mean? We just signed him, and what's he been doing? You know what I mean? Barely kicking the ball for us. And it's no disrespect Danny Ings. I do love him, really. He seems like a really decent bloke. But do you know what I mean? That high-wage player that's done all right before, but just, you know, what's the point? Don't bother. So, yeah, I think that's really good news. I mean, I'm sure people will agree with me. There might be some that don't, and maybe there is. Maybe a couple of people will be absolutely devastated. We're really excited to have Callum Wilson on the West Ham shirt. Well, I don't think it's happening. So there you go. That's it for that one. The other item is the transfer window itself. Now, I think it's very easy to get caught up in this transfer drama a bit all. I do. I get caught up with it. I think we all do to some extent. I mean, a lot of people are very. I know some people message on here and they sometimes say to me, "Why are you doing these updates? I'd rather just not talk about transfers." Well, you know, I do apologise, but there's not much else I can really talk about. And if it's not your bag, I do get it. I'm not saying, you know, you must watch this. If transfer news ain't your stuff, don't worry about it. Because a lot of people say, "Look, you know what? I'd rather just wait until the end of the window and know who we've got." I'm thinking, oh, fair enough. But that being said, most people want to know what's happening. Most people want to, you know, get a bit caught up in the whole sort of, oh, we link with him, we'll be putting a bid in, or, you know, and I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people that we get linked with a player, right? Never heard of him. Stasin, right? Stasin, for instance, this striker. It's like that. I've never heard of the guy. The name gets put in front of you. You go, oh, right, we're in talks for this fella. We're really keen. And McCauley's, you know, been scouting him. You go, oh, okay, interesting. Then you read up a few stats. You look at a few clips. You then speak to a few other people. You know, I'll speak to Gonzo, whatever, and look at like they've got Y-Scout over there and Hammers Chat, so they all do their videos and say, oh, this is what this guy's all about. Before you know it, I'm in love with him. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking to myself, if we don't get this player, I'm not going back to West Ham. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, maybe not extreme, but you know what I mean? I get so caught up in the whole hysteria of it. And then I hear that someone's linked with him, like Bournemouth might be looking at him. I'm like, no, don't let this happen. I didn't know the guy yesterday. So I can get caught up in it. And I think that's quite common for most. And also, I think then as well, because things aren't happening so quickly, you know, you're expecting a few deals over the line. It's very easy then to go like, oh, this is an absolute disaster. This is a nightmare window. Everyone's down. Especially when you see other clubs getting deals done. That I feel like that makes it even worse. You just like, it really pisses me off. But sometimes I do think as well, you do need that kind of step back and just have a little breather and just analyze the situation a little bit and think, is it worth getting too caught up in it? And am I overreacting? And I do think a lot of the time, I do it throughout the season, not just transfer windows. You know what I mean? You lose a couple of games, you think you're getting relegated. You win a couple, you think you're winning the league. You know, you can get caught up with things. And I think that's basically where I am at present with the transfer window. It's like I feel like I've been sort of letting myself get quite wound up. They're thinking, oh, why haven't we got this done yet? Why haven't we got him sorted? Obviously, I'm really pissed off with the fact that the club continually keeps saying, we're skipping, we need to sell. And that is really annoying me. The club are who I'm annoyed at. I'm sick of the way that they're operating. I don't like these constant messages of negativity, especially across the fan base that have just been endured a really crap season. I just feel like saying to David Sullivan, just shut up. Just stop talking about the club's finances. Stop saying that we're skin. I'm tired of listening to it. Just be quiet. Even if you are skin, even if there is a cash flow issue, right? You don't need to keep shouting about it from the rooftops. Just deal with it internally. Just think, right, I'll tell you what, we don't need to shout about it, but let's get a deal. Let's get a couple of players sold, and then we can start moving forward with a couple of deals. You know what I mean? Rather than just keep shouting it for every opportunity. I just feel like it just winds people up. So that annoys me. But what has come out from X's update is that the club certainly sources within the club, are far more confident than the fan base probably is at the moment. They feel that behind the scenes, actually, things are going as they. The word we're a happy ship. We're a very happy ship at the moment. The targets have been identified. They're in talks to sell players. It feels like things are moving forward. So, look, I'm not sitting here brimming with confidence. I'm not sitting there going, "Oh, fantastic! You know, he's brilliant. I can't wait for next season." That's not what I'm feeling. What I am feeling after listening to that is more like, well, I'll tell you what then. Okay, if you're saying things aren't that bad and actually there's reason for optimism, you know, basically it was be patient because wait and see where we are at the end of the transfer window should be a lot better. So there's obviously a confidence within the football club at the moment that actually we're going to have a pretty decent summer. It's hard to say at the moment, isn't it? Because it feels all so unknown. We don't know about Macaulay. We don't really know about Graham Potter yet. There's obviously anxiety of bloody Sullivan being involved and all that. It's a real lot. There's so many things to be like worried about. But as I say, behind the scenes, apparently there's a very happy camp. They know what they want to be doing, and the players have been identified. Blah 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 blah. There is a certain level of confidence. Well, my feeling is then, if that is the case, as I say, it certainly doesn't fill me with confidence, but it makes me go, well, I'll tell you what. Then put your money where your mouth is. Then I want to see this by the end of the transfer window. You better deliver. So that's basically the message that came from the club. I think I'll just read what came from X. So the club are working on deals at present and have stressed that fans now should remain patient and judge the business by the end of the window, as many fans appear to be frustrated with what has been a slow start to proceedings. And also I spoke to X about that. He said West Ham actually considered the first window not really part of it, although there was obviously been inquiry and they didn't really expect to be doing too much then anyway. They're expecting sort of from now to be moving forward. But as I say, it sort of boils down to the fact, doesn't it, of, well, fine. That sounds great, but let's see it then in action. As I say, look, there are plenty more bits of news to come out soon. We've got updates from EXWHUEMPLOYEE and certain players. I'm going to do some transfer updates on that. I'm travelling tomorrow to Mallorca. I will do an update, I think, probably that evening. So I'll do hopefully from a nice balcony or something, which will, like, you know, just to sort of try and make everyone jealous where I am. I'm not just doing that, just more just to keep out of the way of the family while they're getting ready. And I can do a video, and I'll do an update then on terms of a couple of players from X and stuff like that. Yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. Look, I really want to say thank you to everyone again for the support for the Macmillan cancer support walk I'm doing. I'm doing a marathon hike. I'm going to put the link in the description below. Honestly, I've been so touched with the messages. I've been so touched with the response from it. It's been raising over £1,000 already. It's really, it's so amazing. It's such a wonderful community. This, I couldn't be more grateful. So thank you to everyone. So I say it really does mean a lot. And the messages, as I've said, are just so lovely. And I appreciate that people are deeply affected by cancer. I tell you, it's so cruel. And it's a really nasty illness. But I'll tell you what, it brings people together as well. And in terms of you realise what matters in life. And it's just lovely, great community. And I really appreciate everyone for support. And as I say, I'll leave the link in the description below. If there's anything you can do to help, really do appreciate it. Look, I'll catch you later. When I see you next, I'll be speaking Spanish and giving it plenty. Until then, have a good one and come on your irons.